In this video, we'll be talking about how to hold a viola properly with good posture, where to position your left hand on your viola, and how to hold a viola bow. So first, let's talk about how to hold a viola properly. Before we begin, let me just clarify that this is my left side and this is my right. So whenever I'm holding my viola, it is going to always be on my left side, and whenever I'm demonstrating something on my bow, it's going to be always on my right, and that's how it should always be whenever you're playing your instrument as well. So holding your viola properly with good posture is pretty simple. All you have to do is just straighten your back and hold your viola by the fingerboard first, lift your chin up, place it, and one end of your shoulder rest should be sitting kind of on your shoulder while the other sits right on the chest. You should be leaning against your chin rest like a pillow. It should be comfortable, and you should be putting not a lot of tension to hold the viola on its own with your neck, but just enough to hold it on your own without your arm supporting it. And that's how you should be holding your viola properly. Now that we know how to hold the viola properly, we're going to add our left hand and understand where our fingers and how to place our fingers onto the fingerboard. Before we start putting our left hand onto our fingerboard, we're going to be using a pencil as practice for now. So let's start with the thumb. All fingers have 3 joints, so between the first and second joints of the thumb, we're going to place the pencil, which is our fingerboard, right in between, and our thumb will be the stability of our left hand. So our thumb should not be curved, but it should be bent a little, like so. For the rest of our fingers, our first finger is our building block for the rest of them. So you're going to put the fingerboard onto the side of the third joint of the first finger, like so, like this. So it should create a 90-degree angle. And let's also make sure we have our thumb right next to it like this, and just make a little square, and the pad of the finger should be right on top of the fingerboard, like so. And now that we have our building blocks, we're going to add our left hand fingers right next to it like this. And most importantly, our wrist elbow is very important for the rest of the fingers because it should be a diagonal line. It should never go like this or this. It should always be a diagonal line. And whenever you're playing, you should never move your wrist to help your fingers move. You should only use a side-to-side motion like this, never your wrist. Your wrist and your elbow should always be stable for the rest of your fingers. So now applying this to the actual fingerboard, make sure you're holding your viola properly, like I said in the beginning of the video. First, let's apply the diagonal line. Make sure your thumb is right behind the fingerboard between the first and second joint. Now, for your pointer finger, remember, right next to the third joint, like this, creating a square. Make sure your thumb is right behind it. Make sure you tap. And just apply the rest of the fingers along. And make sure you're not moving your wrist like this to help with any fingers. Only do side-to-side motion to help. Make sure your wrist elbow, again, is a diagonal line, like so. Last but not least, let's talk about how to hold the viola bow. Just like our left hand, we're going to go step by step with our right hand. So first, let's talk about the thumb. our thumb is going to be our main stability for the rest of our bow hold. So our thumb should be right under, right here, the thumb leather, and right next to this little hook. So it should go right in between like this. And again, make sure our thumb isn't straight, but a little curved, because if it's straight or too curved, it's going to be tense, and we do not want tension in our bow hold. So we're going to curve a little bit like this. And for these two fingers, we're going to be putting it right in front of our thumb, and this will create this extra stability we need. So let's take our hand away from the bow hold for a second. And this is what our bow hold looks like when applying our thumb and our two fingers like this. We should create a little coyote pose like this with a little circle in between, just like this. Now, let's put it back onto the bow. Our thumb right under our thumb leather, in between the hook right here. A little curve, not too curved, not too straight, right in between. Putting our two fingers right in front like this, creating that coyote pose. And now let's add our pinky finger. This gives it a nice balance in the bow hold. It should be sitting right in between the fingernail and the edge of the finger, so on the finger pad. And it should be not too far away from these two fingers, because that will create tension. And again, we do not want tension. So put it a little next to the two fingers like this and tap as a little exercise. And now lastly, our pointer finger. This will drive the bow, which is very important. So again, going back to our finger joints, a lot of people put their pointer finger onto the bow hold with their second joint, but that causes too much motion and we want stability. So try putting your first joint onto the bow, just like so. It should not be close to these two fingers, but away enough to make sure our first joint is on our bow like this. So it should be a little slanted, because that's how you will get your first joint onto the bow hold, like this. So we've got our thumb under thumb leather, curved, our two fingers in front doing the coyote pose like this, putting our pinky finger next to these two fingers, creating a nice curve as well. Make sure our pinky finger pad is right on top like this, and our first joint on the pointer finger kind of farther away from these two fingers, creating a slanted motion, making sure it will drive the bow properly. Now, to get used to this bow hold, I have two exercises that will help. It will be the windshield wipers and the up and down motion. So first, let's talk about the windshield wiper exercise. So for this exercise, you're going to have your bow hold like this. You're going to be putting your arm right next to you, and you'll be doing this side-to-side motion while only using your fingers and your wrists to move the bow side to side. So it should look like this. Like this. And as you can see, I'm only using my wrists and my fingers. Make sure your bow hold isn't all messed up, because the point of the exercise is for you to have a stable bow hold and creating strength with your fingers and getting used to the bow hold like this. Now let's talk about the up and down motion exercise. So for this, again, you'll be needing that same bow hold. And for this one, you keep your bow straight like this, and you're gonna go up, making sure your fingers are straight, and then you're gonna go down back into your little bow hold. This just makes you get used to the bow hold, making sure you know exactly where your fingers are supposed to go. This will help create flexibility with your bow hold. Like this. You're only going to use your fingers and your wrist to help you with this exercise. Now, after watching this video, you now know how to hold your viola properly, where to place your left hand and fingers onto the fingerboard, and how to hold your viola bow properly. You are now ready to play the viola.